Alright guys, so now that we're getting farther into the course, these are going to be, quicker videos. We're just going to be saying what is a basing candle today. A basing candle is really any candle where the buyers and sellers seem equally matched with the according red or green color for demand or supply. Preferably, the smaller the basing candle, the better the zone. That just means, buyers and sellers are more equal, but then, if it's a red basing candle, buyers and sellers are really equal, but buyers ended up pushing it up really hard after. That's a good demand zone. Also, usually good basing candles have smaller bodies on them. Not huge wicks, not huge sell wicks for demand, not huge buy wicks for a supply zone. And for demand, a good basing candle will have a smaller body with a buying wick while still being a red candle. And the buying wick kind of confirms that buyers are strong here, right? For supply, a good basing candle would have a smaller body with a selling wick while still being a green candle. And the selling wick kind of confirms that sellers were strong here. Again, let's take a little example here. So here we have a 5-hour supply. Let's look at this. So this is a good example, right? Here we have a small bodied candle. If we do what Rhino does and measure it, right? It's a 0.5 move, or 0.5 in the body. And if we measure this body, it's 13.25, so it's definitely twice as big, right? So that's good. This is a big selling wick on this candle, which it means that sellers, buyers were pushing it up after this big move. Sellers kicked in. Sellers are strong right here. Big drop, good supply zone, right? Key detail, that selling wick, right? And a small body. And then let's look here. So we got a 4-hour demand. Let's look here. So this should be down there like that. So that's the whole zone. This 4-hour candle, right? Obviously not a great basing candle by any means. It's still, and by not a great basing candle, I mean, compared to this supply zone up here, we have a big body, right? But we have equal buying wicks and selling wicks, right? And the buyers did end up winning that battle, which is a good sign for us. If we look here, this body is 31. This body is 69. It's twice as big. So that's a valid supply zone. Valid demand zone. Okay. And another, just key thing, although we don't have a super small body, the buying wick and selling wick are pretty equal. We also have a 45-minute zone. Let's take a look at that. So here, again, not the highest quality zones, right? We have a bigger selling wick than a buying wick on this candle, right? Which means the sellers were still pretty strong here. We did end up rallying out, so the buyers pushed us out, which is good. If we check that, that's 10.5. That's 38. That's easily twice as big. It's a valid demand zone still. So that's okay, right? But we want to be careful with these selling wicks and these buying wicks and try and make sure that they are, like, ideally, since this selling wick's so big, we want this buying wick to be like down here, right? So that, buying wick is bigger, things like that, right? So we also have a 5-hour demand here. Let's check that one. Here's a decent basing candle. Again, bigger selling wick, right? And you can think about it this way too. So you ideally do want a bigger buying wick because that indicates the buyers are strong, right? But sometimes, depending on how big the rally is, you could say a selling wick is good too, for the sole reason that sellers were strong here and the buyers pushed us straight out. So the buyers were way stronger, right? There's two ways you can look at it, but ideally you do want a bigger buying wick. So that candle's 1 point wide on the body. This one's 6, so that's definitely twice as big. Valid zone, right? Just kind of keep in mind, we ideally want to see bigger buying wicks off of demand zones, bigger selling wicks off of supply zones, and then remember, twice as big at the bodies for the candles. So that's all for this video. On to the next one.